All right, folks, let's go ahead and get airborne. Welcome aboard day 2 of our industry-leading full throttle trading and training program, man. As of me jumping on the air, literally right now, about 36, 37 full throttle slots remain. I know a bunch of folks jumped on solo Amazon yesterday. Knock yourself out. That's awesome. But the full throttle slots are going as well. Here's the link to grab your full throttle slot. The annual is the best deal, folks. It's a 50% discount, $29.95. Hell, the bullish trade we looked at on the S&P 500 yesterday is already printing money. Yesterday, I also took a sniper shot. If you had already joined full throttle yesterday, man, there you go. Right here. Boom. 90%. It was about a 92% profit by the time I got filled. I think I got filled at 10 cents actually. So $1.25 yesterday. If you had used my $5,000 in risk, you would have made $2,100 yesterday on that trade. $2,100, one S&P trade yesterday. That was placed in the Hunters and the Max Afterburner group. So $2,100, folks, in a couple hours on that S&P 500 trade. Almost paid for an annual membership in full throttle. So this membership pays for itself, potentially can pay for itself, but trust me, $29.95 for a year. If I don't make $29.95 in a day or two, it's a bad day. Things suck. Rarely happens. So there's the link to join. If you didn't get a chance to attend, if this is your first brief, welcome aboard. Here's the replay page. Session 1 is on there yesterday. Please go watch the replay from yesterday. We covered a long-term, but I posted this in solo Amazon, by the way, even though it's not an Amazon trade. Mondays at 10 a.m. are usually when we do our solo Amazon member brief. So I put the replay and the trade over there. So you just go click on it. The replay's at the top as well, obviously. But there's the trade. So this is a bullish trade on the S&P 500 out to September. Why? Watch the replay. Well, it's the Federal Reserve and the market's going to keep rallying. But bullish double vertical trade out to September on the S&P 500. This is a good looking trade. I like it. It's still a valid trade today. If you didn't get any yesterday, this is still a good looking trade today. Are your trades mostly on SPX? Claudio, nope. I was going to take a look at Bank of America today or Amazon. Might be Amazon today. Might make an audible adjustment here and look at Amazon. I trade volatility with the VIX. We trade the defense contractors. We trade Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. We trade a bunch of stuff. But my day, I call them sniper shots, or I used to call them sniper shots, but after Donald Trump got shot in the head, maybe I'll change that. I used to call them S&P 500 quick sniper shots. So that, yes, my day trades are only S&P trades. And I'm not going to say I'm not a day trader, folks. I'd rather get my teeth drilled. I told you, I don't sit here, man. I put this bull put spread on. When did I do it? Let me just tell you about my day yesterday. Where is it? Right here. It doesn't show you the exact time. I wish it did that. But this was yesterday morning. Let's go look. So yesterday morning on the S&P 500, we were in this brief. So I put on a bull put spread right about here. Got done with the brief, went and worked out, went to the doctors, did all sorts of stuff, came back, and I'm like, oh, that trade's up 95%. Let me exit it. So when I say day trades, I'm not sitting here staring at my screen all day, man. I placed that trade and I went on with my life. Came home and I'm like, oh, I can get out at 15 cents or 10 cents, and I did. William, now, I very rarely do I follow the crowd, so to speak. If I see a shot of opportunity like this on a crowd strike, yeah, maybe, if anything at this point, William, I'd look to get, bullish. Once the bad news is already cleared, it might be a buying opportunity. But I call these, William, a foray. What do I mean by that? I don't know anything about CrowdStrike except that the Russians hacked the DNC server and all sorts of stuff. And they destroyed the airline system for the past couple days. Other than that, I don't know anything about CrowdStrike. So if I was to jump in here and start trading CrowdStrike, I deserve everything bad that's going to happen to me, or good. I call these forays. North Korea, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, those were both forays. We sucked. Afghanistan was a foray. I don't like doing things where it's kind of half-assed or I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing. A couple other forays in my past, Budweiser. A year and a half ago when they put the dude on the beer can or whatever, I'm like, boom, we pounded Budweiser into the dirt. Made a lot of money. What else? Oh, the regional banks, like a year ago, right? Year and a half ago, Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, Barney Frank is on their board. We pounded the regionals into the dirt. So if there's a market event where a stock gets hit or there's potential good news, I might dabble in it. But if I'm going to do it in a live trade brief, I'm going to be completely forthright and honest to everybody. Like, hey man, this is a foray. All right. Is there potential money to be made? Yeah. But if there's potential money to be lost too. So I saw the CrowdStrike thing and I'm like, Oh, that's the other one, Bruce. Thanks for that reminder. Target. We pounded Target into the dirt too when that stuff was going on. What was the other one? Oh, Peloton. Oh my God. One of the biggest shorts of my, existence, right? What did I tell you? Peloton's $170 stock. What did I tell you? I'm like, folks, this could be the most bearish trade of the century. I'm like, get short this name, buy puts on it, mortgage the house, sell the wife and kids, get bearish on Peloton. I'm like, folks, this thing's a flu. It's going to pass. And those things are going to end up being expensive laundry drying equipment. That's exactly what happened. It went from $180 stock to $3. So technically that would have been a foray too. But at the height of COVID, I'm like, I work out. I don't work out in my home. That's gross. I don't want to sweat in my living room. So long answer to your short question, William, with CrowdStrike and stuff like that, if I see a raging opportunity, I'll take it. Otherwise, I hate straying from what I know, right? I'm definitely not a cruel, I'm sorry, a coworker at the water cooler type of guy. Like, hey, I heard this. Chris, oh yeah, Beyond Meat. You remember that? Yeah. So, rarely I'll trade these names but if there's a good opportunity. I'm a big believer in trade what you know, man. I do a pretty damn good living trading a core group of names and things that I'm an expert at. And then randomly, if there's something like a shot of opportunity, like something like that, yeah, that's like for example, I'm not a big oil trader. When I trade oil, breaking news, Iran, Israel, or breaking news, something. I'll go shift over to the oil names and do something like that. So it's very market dependent. Okay, good question. I appreciate that. Oh, so what I was getting at, folks, was, hey man, yesterday I more or less with one trade paid for an annual membership. So if you're interested, start grabbing your slots now. Like I said, there's only however many left of the annual Full Throttle memberships. Do me a favor, a quick reminder on the checkout page, Solo Amazon is not part of Full Throttle. It's its own separate service. It's kind of the gateway drug. It's the entryway for folks to join TGO. But if you're in Full Throttle and you want Solo Amazon, just kind of add it on the way out. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good brief yesterday. I guess you didn't put your name in there because somebody's name is Test Registration. How did you pick the strikes for yesterday's trade? Let me get, I'll save that question to the end since people who were here yesterday don't need to have the brief repeated. If I have time at the end, I will recover that, but we're in a new brief and we got to press forward. So let's get going. Any other questions, concerns, smart remarks? Oh, by the way, before I get airborne. Yeah, this is the link to buy. It was a good trade. It's already making money. The trade from the S&P 500 trade from yesterday is already doing very well. And The S&P is looking pretty good for today too. Yeah, we have 613 people registered. I'm only taking 50 new members, so less than 10% of the current people who are registered are going to get a membership. So absolutely, time is of the essence. All right, I don't know what to tell you, man. That the Secret Service director, she's a national embarrassment. How does that woman have any shred of dignity or shame? Clearly, she has none. She works for the Department of Homeland Security director, which has left the border wide open for 4 years and 10 million people have invaded. That guy should be fired. So nobody's fired in this administration. People actually fail up, like Kamala is about to fail up. But watching that testimony yesterday, it was just an absolute disgrace. The United States Navy is the last organization in this country that actually holds people accountable. If you're the commanding officer of an aircraft carrier and you're asleep, you're working out, you're having chow with the sailors, you're down in the reactor talking to the reactor officer, and your ship runs aground, who is fired? You are. Now, some of you might think that's a little weird, like, well, that's odd. The commanding officer was down in the reactor room, or he was asleep, or she was working out. As the admiral relieving you, I would say you should have spent more time on the bridge instead of eating with your sailors, sleeping, or working out. You're fired. You have one job. Don't run your ship aground. As the protectee, you have one job. As a lady running the Secret Service, you have one job. Don't let people get shot. You failed. You're relieved. And the canned sentence we have in the military is what? Due to a loss of trust and confidence in your ability to lead. These fucking people in this administration are a joke. Where is the president of the United States? I hate conspiracy theories, folks. A Joe Biden letterhead, not White House, not official stationery, not even a picture of the dude. It's raging around the internet that something's going on. All these cops in Las Vegas are like, no. We had all this shit planned that day. They raced him to the airport. It was over with. Something ain't good. Something is going on. Nobody's seen the president in 5 days. Something is going on. These officers in Vegas are like, man, the people in ape shit. There's radio dispatches, undisclosed medical incident, right? So I hate I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I'm just reporting shit that is going on around this country. But the leader of the free world hasn't been seen in days. He allegedly called into a Kamala campaign event. Did you hear Kamala? She's like, Joe, I know you're still on the call. She said half of the word recording, but stopped herself. Either the Secret Service and our government agencies are complete morons or they're complicit. That's only one of two choices. This country is in so much trouble, folks. I just can't even. Yeah, the signature didn't look like his. AI can be voice constructed. It's awful. It's awful. Trevor, good question. I was reading your documentation. You recommend paper trading. What amount of paper trading time would you recommend? Trevor, that is a great question. It's also a pilot and command moment. What do I mean by that? You're going to know. Some people paper trade for a week and go, all right, I got this. Some people paper trade for 30 days and say, all right, I think I can get airborne. Trevor, you're the tick. You're the trader in command. I flew a single seat F-18 Hornet in the Navy, meaning I would take a pen, I would look through the maintenance Bible for the jet. After I looked at everything, I took that pen and I signed my initials and put the date and my rank. And I owned the airplane. I owned the airplane for that period of time. Same with you. You're the trader in command. Only you will know after you paper trade for X amount of time that, you know what? I'm feeling okay. I can't give you a formal definition. It's just physically impossible. I've helped probably closer to 15,000 people at this point learn how to trade options. And I'll tell you what, bro, I probably got 15,000 different answers on that, you know? So it's a great question. I just don't know the answer to that. I have people who take a break from live trading, right? Like, hey, Wiz, I'm getting busy at work and stuff like this. What do I tell them? Don't stop trading. Maybe go over to paper trading. You ever see an athlete, an NFL athlete, a wide receiver, something come off the sideline? What do most of them do? They get on the bike. They get it on the stationary bike. You got to keep your heart rate going. You got to keep in it. You don't want to sit there on the bench for, the next set of downs or 8 downs or the next drive and be cold, right? You want to stay in it. The brain is a muscle, man. You got to exercise it. So even if you take a break from trading, so to speak, maybe have some paper trades on so the juices are still flowing, right? Okay. All right. We already talked about let's get airborne. Again, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I'm going to treat you like we're in a regular live trade brief here. Let's go. To secure the Red Sea, sink Iran's Navy. Yep. Operation Prosperity Garden is an absolute failure. The black guy, Secretary of Defense Austin, you see, I remember his name, but the guy who hired the Secretary of Defense called him the black man last week because he couldn't remember his name. So Secretary of Defense Austin said Operation Prosperity Garden will open the Red Sea, and we have an international coalition of navies that will fight these pirates and Houthis. What happened? It's a miserable failure. The French sent a frigate or corvette or whatever it's called, an electronic thing. It broke. They sent it home. It can't fight. The Brits rippled off a couple missiles and they went home. They ran out of ammo. Our Navy is doing what? Taking punches. God bless the Eisenhower. God bless the air crews, the SWOs on the ships. They're Wonder Woman. They're getting shot at. But this administration, instead of launching a carrier strike battle group against Yemen, where they're flying the drones out of, where they're controlling the drones out of, where they're coming from, we don't do any of that. The only strike into Yemen was at the beginning when Joe gave them a week's notice and said, by the way, we're going to hit these spots. Oh, okay, thanks for the heads up. Everybody left. There was a couple empty garages. We're a joke. We're a disgrace. Israel, they hit Tel Aviv the other day, almost hit the U.S. consulate, which maybe that was the target. And of course, you're not hearing that on the media. You have to come here to get your news. They almost hit the American consulate. What did we do? Nothing. We're worried about a president who might not even be alive at this point. The Israelis launched a massive strike and destroyed ports and buildings and runways and all sorts of shit. Did you see Benjamin Netanyahu land in the United States yesterday? You know who greeted him? The president. No. Well, the vice president did. No. Come on, Wiz. The Secretary of State met him. No. His own ambassador, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, landed in the United States yesterday, and nobody met the dude at the airplane. Zelensky comes, give that man a fucking state's welcome. Oh, yeah, Mark, you didn't see that on the news? Of course you won't. Nobody met Benjamin Netanyahu except the Israeli ambassador. Secretary of State, Camel is like, well, I had a pre-existing conflict. He's the head of state of our biggest ally in the Middle East who is at war. We're giving the dude weapons. Nobody met him at the airplane. Stocks, bonds, yields advance with return of the Trump trade. Here we go. Here's your commit criteria from yesterday's SPX bullish double vertical. Here we go, folks. I told you the other day, I told you yesterday, bounce off the 20, bounce off the 20, bounce off the 20, bounce. Little whiz correction here, profit taking, and then these bigger bounces. We are heading higher, period. Trade is looking good so far. The return of the Trump trade. Milder inflation opens door wider to September rate cut. Duh. I told you yesterday not to beat a dead horse, but some of you are new. Real quick, you will not hear one negative report, macroeconomic, from this administration until after the election. If, and it's not going to happen, Donald Trump wins, you will see a horrific amount of horrible inflation on jobs, inflation, GDP, you name it. Do you want to bet? This ain't hard, folks. I'm not new at this. So here's another wizardism. I don't think I gave you this one yesterday. Trade the market you have, not the one you want. Okay? Now, the one I want isn't necessarily down, but the one that I want based on everything that I know is going on, the S&P should be down at like 2,500 bucks, folks. It's just makes no sense. But I told you on March 22nd, 2020, the United States changed forever. Capitalism ended. Jerome Powell, the bottom of the COVID crash, boom, printing money out of thin air, obscene amounts of money, and off to the races. We haven't looked back. There are people trading now that have never seen a down market, folks. I mean, Wiz, I don't need to learn how to trade options. I'm a genius. Everybody, the market goes up and to the right. Yep, everybody's a genius during this type of market. And then Top Gun options gets flooded when there's blood in the streets. I'll take you, but best to be here now, because if we have time today, or maybe I'll save it for tomorrow, we're going to talk about a potential hedge, man, between now and let's say the end of the year, in case something like that does happen. Okay, but for now, man, trade the market you have. Momentum is a thing, folks. That's momentum. That is absolute momentum. Inflation is stuck up here at 3%, folks. It ain't going anywhere. Okay, it's insane. The Fed's target rate is 2%, folks. Under Donald Trump, love or hate the man, we peaked out at around 2.5%. That was the highest inflation under Donald Trump. Under Joe Biden and Democrats, it went up to 9.1. Trillions and trillions in just disgusting, rampant spending. Do you remember all of this? Raging inflation. What did Sideshow Bob, the press secretary, tell us? And Kamala and Joe? Oh, it's the Putin price hike. It's the war in Ukraine that's causing inflation. What? It's supply chain issues, Mayor Pete, or COVID. At the beginning, raging inflation at the beginning, remember, everything was COVID. It was COVID, it was the Putin price hike, and it was supply chain issues, or what else? I forget what all of their other bullshit excuses. You heard Kamala, you heard Joe, you heard Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, you heard the Federal Reserve Chief, all use what word? Say it with me. Transitory. We believe inflation is transitory, transitory, transitory. What happened 2.5, 3 years later? Jerome Powell, Janet Yellen, probably was wrong to use the word transitory. I don't know what your definition of transitory, dude, is. It ain't 3 years. Two of them begrudgingly admitted they were wrong. Again, people in this administration failing. You have one job, dude. Well, the Fed chief has two jobs: price stability and full employment. You failed miserably at one of your jobs, and the guy keeps his job. So anyway, oh, and there you go. There is the chart I was looking for. 2%. That's the Fed's target rate. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Boom. Pictures don't lie, folks, or that picture doesn't lie. Pictures can lie, I guess. So anyway, Gabriel, what's my prediction for the election? Donald Trump loses. Donald Trump does not win, folks. I know people get furious. Some people celebrate that I'm saying that. Other people say, folks, this is why Joe is gone, folks, because the Democrats know at this point that if they did all the bullshit they're doing and the guy still won, it would be absolute anarchy and insanity. Nobody would believe it. Now we got she's not African American, by the way, folks. It's one of the biggest lies in the world. She's Jamaican Indian. You talk to a Jamaican or an Indian and you call them African American, see how that goes down. Jamaicans flip out. Those two communities are furious with, oh, she's an African American woman. What? Anyway, um, so that's why Kamala is now running, because it'll be more plausible when all the shit happens. Unless Donald Trump is up like 15% in the polls, which he's not, he won't be, he's going to lose. I've nailed this for decades, folks. Trust me on this. They have done everything to keep this man from winning, from bankruptcy to indictments to executions. If you don't think the other side of this country will do everything in their power to keep him from winning, you're a fool. So, stuff in ballot boxes, the bulk ballots, one of the most racist things I've heard in the past 20 years is people of color don't know how to get IDs, or they can't, forcing people to show an ID at a thing is racist. I can't fucking check into a hotel, folks, without my ID. You can't fly on an airliner. You can't do a million things in this country without an ID, but you can vote. Anyway, folks, I know some of you don't want to hear that. I want to be wrong. I told you I can't stand the man personally. I think he's awful, narcissist. Policies ain't too bad, man. I'm pro-business. I'm low tax, pro-business, pro-defense, close the border, pro-life. But it ain't going to happen, man. But we're still going to make money. I'm going to sit here in my fort, in my castle with my ammo, and no matter what happens, I'm going to make money and be happy. So couldn't get a job without the jab and be able to prove it. Exactly. All right, we got to go. We have a lot of tactical stuff to do. Warning, Will Robinson. Didn't he have sex with a porn star? He did. Didn't Bill Clinton have sex with an intern? Could you imagine doing that today? Before the Me Too movement, the most powerful man on the planet used his authority, his position as the most powerful man in the world, and slept with an intern, had an affair with an intern. The same people who said, I can separate what Bill Clinton does in his private life from the presidency are the same people that said, oh my God, Donald Trump had sex with a porn star. Hypocrisy doesn't sit well with me. I think it's both gross. How about that? Greatest bubble nearing its peak, says Black Swan manager. Ooh. Spitznagel, who has made billions from past crashes, sees the last hurrah for stocks before severe reckoning. Smoking the exactly, Jan. Exactly. So, folks, there's guys and gals like this all over the place. The Harry Dent. These are perma bears. The guy on the exit ramp of I-95 down the road from me, he's got a sign that says the end is near. He's going to be right. What's the saying? A broken clock's right twice a day. These people are going to be right, folks. So Harry Dent, like once every 10 years, the guy's right. Like, see, I told you the market was going to crash. Yeah, no shit, dude. I'll predict that too. It's when. So I get what some of these perma bears are saying right now. This bubble is a little insane. You're right, James. Gloom and doom sells. I get it, but it's just kind of comical. I'm going to make an audible. Why? Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. This one. I want to get long-term bull. I am long-term bullish on Bank of America. I put this trade on last week, but I'm going to audible because I'm starting to hear some really, really good news on Amazon. I don't go to yoga Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do my mastermind briefing. And let's just say a lot of big money flowing into Amazon right now. Amazon Prime Day drives U.S. online sales to a record 14.2 billion, up 11% from last year. Unbelievable, folks. Record breaking. What did the stock do last week? It sold off. I love this headline. Growth is slowed. Look at this chart. Do you know how many companies on the planet would kill for a chart like this? Anybody see a trend? comical, man. I love people that do this stuff. Hey, their growth is slowing. Okay. So, oh, did she resign? That was an embarrassment. She should not have been allowed to resign. She should have been fired. Unbelievable. Resign. You're fired. But she doesn't have a commander. She doesn't have a boss right now. This country is rudderless right now. We have no president. Tell me how you can't run for a re-election, but you can manage the presidency. Folks, if I was Xi Jinping, I'd be like, General, go ahead and execute the plan now. Go take Taiwan. Ain't nothing going to happen. And nothing would happen. Anyway, we're going to do Amazon. We're going to do an earnings trade on Amazon. Let's go. Big pop today in Amazon. Looking good. I have an earnings trade on. Wow. What did I tell you, folks? Holy crap. So do we have a confirmation? Yes, we do. August 1st, after market close. Now, if you want to get really technical, earnings on Amazon, the only place to confirm when Amazon earnings are on the Amazon investor relations page. Go to Amazon.com, look at it for bottom in the footer that says investor relations, click on it, and there should be a news release. But our brokerage firms scrape those feeds, and you can believe this with 95% certainty. Yeah, I saw that, Bruce. Yeah, not only did Joe, Kamala, and Anthony Blinken, who was the responsible for the 51 intelligence officials who said Hunter Biden's laptop was Russia disinformation, which was a lie by 51 intelligence officials to interfere in an election. Kamala is not going to the speech to Congress. So when it's Zelensky coming, we sent $175 billion to Ukraine. For $100 million, folks, I could heal just about every veteran and first responder of their PTS in this country with psychedelic assisted therapy. For the price of the 31 tanks, wonder how much the F-16s we're sending are. So that guy shows up with his trick or treat bag, and they fill it full of money. Oh, and by the way, Zelensky has suspended elections. That's a nice dictator move. No elections during wartime. I think that's actually when you should have the most elections, because maybe the people don't want to do this anymore. No, it's martial law. Israel fighting for their life, and that's how Kamala's going to treat Israel. Whatever, man. So 3% pop out of Amazon right now. I believe Amazon is getting ready to get on a rocket ship into earnings. I already have this trade on. This is for the people who are here for free. Let's get crazy right now. I'll table Bank of America and we have a big day to talk tomorrow. Why? Because look at this. Every time, if you want to trade off the left side of a chart, you're looking at this going, wow, Amazon's had some big implosions. They've hit the 100-day and had massive bounces. Hit the 100-day, a little back to here, but let's call that a massive. These are massive bounces, folks. We've done another. We went through the 100-day down to 180, and we have earnings coming right here, folks. I think Amazon is going to destroy earnings. Okay. So similar to the trade we did yesterday. So there's a couple ways to attack this. Let me step through how you can potentially profit off Amazon earnings. So let's go out August 2nd, right? So August 1st is next Thursday. Next Thursday. And what did it say? Before market open or AMC, after market close. Okay. So Thursday afternoon, next Thursday afternoon, at 4:01 p.m., after the closing bell sounds, we will get some Amazon earnings. I think they're going to be disgusting. Now, if you didn't attend yesterday, that's your fault. Go watch the replay. So I'm going to go quick through this. You ready? I'm not going to pretend to know what Amazon earnings will be. I think they're going to be good. What is the options market currently telling me that it thinks Amazon's range will be next Friday, right? we can look at August 2nd. Now, Amazon is currently at 188.53. If you look down here at the strikes, there ain't no 188.53 strike, right? There's a 187, there's a 190. So we're stuck between these two strikes, right? There is no technically at the money strike. I mean, literally, it's right in the middle. Let's just round up. Well, we'll look at the 190. So, folks, the options market is saying Amazon on October 2nd is going to be, let's round up, a $15 straddle. Double that. 60 total. Oh, 60. Sorry, 30. You ready? Let's go look. We call this the Elizabeth Warren teepee. Why isn't the dotted line going through the top of the straddle? Because I'm looking at the 190 strike and the stock is currently at 188.75. You see this? That's why. So this is a little off. But the options market right now, folks, is saying Amazon could go up to 205 or could implode down to 175. That's the range that the options market is forecasting it stays between. So, any questions on the at the money straddle? So there's a couple things we can do, okay? One of them would be you could put on a range bound trade, like literally at the money straddle. There is a tactic called an iron condor. What was it? 205 and 170 something. You could put on a trade that says, Wiz, I don't care what it does as long as it stays between those two strikes. There's a tactic for that. It's called an iron condor. So an iron condor, ladies and gentlemen, would be a range bound trade. I call it the football. This is a football field. It can run around on the football field, just don't step out of bounds. Or like we looked at yesterday, a bullish double vertical or bearish double vertical, you could do a directional trade. Wiz, it's going to do that. Or it's going to do that. Up to you. Now, I currently have a bullish double vertical in my account right now. I have a bull put spread and a bull call spread. Now, I rarely do this, but since I have hundreds of free people in here, I'm going to be a benevolent dictator. You all get to choose. Do you think Amazon is going to rip higher from here and crush it on earnings? So you want a bullish trade? Or are you saying, Wiz, I don't know, man, it's a coin flip, but I want to put on a range bound trade? Vote now. Just type in the chat box and I'll see what the majority says. William, rip higher. John, range bound. James, higher. Bob, coin. Trevor, range bound. Scott, bullish. Iron condor. Man, you guys are higher range. Puts are more expensive. Puts are more expensive. Let's go look at that. Iron condor, up, up. Iron condor, rip, rip. Lots of deliveries in the neighborhood. Higher. Range bound. You know what? Here, I'm awesome. Just ask me. Here, I'm going to do both. Why? Because yesterday, folks, I told you to do what? I told you about an SPX bullish double vertical, didn't I? It's right here. If you paid attention to doing the double vertical, you can go get it. So I'll be cool. How about I do this? I'm going to do a bullish double vertical, and I'm going to do it fast. And if you have any questions, I'm not going to answer them. Why? Because I covered this yesterday. So let's do this. Bullish double vertical on earnings for Amazon, 185, 182 and a half bull put spread. selling a single 185 put out to next Friday, buying the 182.5. That is a bull put spread. Okay. I'm going to turn around and we're going to buy, call, buy, sell, 1, 1. Let me go look at the chart. Let's go. Is there a 192.5? Buy the 192.5, sell the 195. Yeah, it's a 1-to-1 trade. This is a good looking trade. All right, here we go. You will receive 0.00. That's Mr. Blutarski's GPA in Animal House. Now, let me brief this again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bull put spread. It's a credit spread. You get paid to do it. I'm going to take that credit and buy a bull call spread. Okay. What realistically, I did this yesterday too. I do one contract so people with different account sizes can look at it and go, I'm the tick, I'm the trader in command, like Wiz says. I'm going to figure out my own risk. If I were I am managing a $100,000 model portfolio, I would probably, my SOP on a $100,000 model portfolio is I don't want to risk more than 5%, $5,000 on any one trade. Why? That's me. I've been doing this for 33, 34 years. That's my risk. It doesn't blow me out if that happens, and it's a nice potential profit. So let's do maybe, let's see what 20 gives us. 20 contracts. Boom. Risking 5 to make $5,000. Okay. It's a perfect ratio. It's a perfect 1-to-1 trade. Okay. Perfect 1-to-1 risk to reward. So if you risk $2,500 in this trade, you potentially make $2,500. Let's back up a second. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called a bullish double vertical. Wiz, I don't think you put a roof on Amazon at 195. What if it's the at the money straddle, bro, was up to 200? Well, why don't we do that? Well, why don't we sell the 200 call? Let's see what that does. Okay, now I'm spending $3,300. My risk goes up, but my potential profit goes up. Okay. Now, obviously, we could probably throttle back the contracts. Let's dial back down to 15, maybe. Go down a little bit more, maybe 10. All right. Risking about 4,200 to make 5,900. Okay. But let me back up even more. Let's get rid of the upside call. Why did I do that? Selling the upside call brings in a little coin, right? But Wiz, what if it blasts up to 205? What if it goes, I mean, it was the best earnings Amazon's ever seen. Why don't we get rid of the roof then? Why don't we just do the bull put spread and buy an upside call on its own, sitting up there? What does that do? Well, if I did 10 contracts, I come out of pocket $4,800. Let's do 5. 5 contracts, I'm coming out of pocket $2,400, but my upside is what? Unlimited. So let me just map this out on a chart. This is called a burner trade, right? So I'm selling a bull put spread under the stock down here, right? Bull put spread is a credit spread. We get paid to sell a bull put spread. Whenever you sell something, you get paid. You sell your home, you sell your airplane, your car, you get paid. So we take the credit from the bull put spread and we buy that, upside, what was it, 200 call? We buy that, and that's a debit. That's a minus. This is a burner trade. If Amazon does something like that, your limits are technically, your profit is technically unlimited. Does everybody understand this? Again, watch the replay from yesterday to get I really went through it slowly on a bullish double vertical out to September on the S&P 500. This is an earnings trade. Everybody sit up straight and listen to me. Earnings trades are gambling. What? Yeah, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but listen to me. This is why retail traders can't stand Wall Street sometimes. Wiz, I hear Amazon earnings are going to be blowout. They are. I agree. I'm going to buy some calls. Good idea. Breaking news, Amazon earnings are great. Amazon's down 10% after hours trading, right? And you're furious. So, folks, Amazon tends to run up into earnings. Buy the rumor, sell the news. The smart money says, I know it's going to be blowout earnings. That's why the stock's going to run into earnings and it sells off. So I wouldn't necessarily hold this trade through Friday. Rick, you absolutely have got that right. What did Rick say? 80-20. 80% of an earnings call is one direction and 20 is the other way. Guess which way? 20% of an earnings call is to the left side of a chart. I'm Wiz. I'm the CEO of Wiz Enterprises. We had an awesome quarter. It was insane. Filthy money. What's the stock doing as I'm talking? Holy crap, this guy, holy bullishness, Batman. Could not have been a better quarter in the history of quarters. Believe me, I talk like Trump on an earnings call. Ask anyone, listen. And then what happens? Now, our forward guidance could not be any worse. Boom. 80% of an earnings call is the forward guidance. People stop caring on an earnings call pretty quickly about how you did, and they want to know how you're going to do. So this is why a lot of retail traders get punched in the gut like, oh my God, I got the earnings right. The earnings were awesome and the stock sold off. Yeah, it did. So before you do any sort of earnings trade, know your risks. I'm here as your flight instructor to brief you on said risks. There is risk to an earnings trade, man, that people can just, it can go I've seen it the opposite. It was one of the worst quarters of our existence. That's awful. Stock implodes. However, we are doing a quadrillion-dollar stock buyback, and boom, stock goes to the moon. Wait a minute, their earnings are awful. Yeah, but didn't you hear they're buying back a ton of shares? Yay! Does everybody understand this? So sometimes I don't like trading earnings. Or when I do, in this case, I'm going to spend 7 minutes like I have so far and tell you, be careful. Understand. William, you could do that. You could do a strangle, you can do a straddle, or you could do what I'm about to brief you on real quick. Let's say some of you are like, dude, I have no idea what it's going to do. Amazon's going to do something. So the at the money straddle was what, 30 bucks? What percentage of the stock price is 30 bucks? What are we at right now? 190? Somebody do that real quick. They're forecasting, I can't do mental math. They're forecasting 8% move in the stock. There are programs, I think on E-Trade too. I used to do this in my trading firm historically for the past, enter it into your AI machine. For the past 10 earnings period, how has, Amazon reacted compared to the at the money straddle? It's blown it out 7 times. You can get cosmic detail on this type of stuff. Okay. There are booger eaters and there are people with slide rules and stuff like that, man. I'm not that. I was that back in the day. You don't need to be. So any questions on Amazon blowout earnings? It being up 3% today on, did I miss some news? Yeah, I did miss some news, folks. Alexa is losing billions of dollars. Stock's up 3%, Wiz. Yeah. JMP Securities reiterates market outperform, maintains at 225. There we go. Anything else? Bunch of headlines. Well, this was yesterday. Bernstein outperform, target 215. Trust Securities buy. Folks, look at this. All right, you ready? When I see a bunch of firms a week before earnings raising their price target, first of all, they're most likely accumulating the stock, or they also and they know something. Does everybody see that? In my career, folks, usually when do banks and institutions like this update their price guidance? After earnings. And that's when I look at them and laugh like, oh, that's pretty funny. Amazon just reported blowout earnings 2 days ago, and now you raise your price target? Duh. These people are doing this outperform and price target stuff a week ahead of earnings. I've seen this before, folks. I've seen this play before. Add that to my commit criteria. I missed this. I should have. You got it, Scott. Cheerleading it up. I'm going to grab a screenshot of this. My current members already have one of these, or I have this on. We covered this weeks ago, but if I'll add this new one to our primary brief page. For folks who joined today, if you're sitting here going, I want to join and I want to do this, and you got to, I'll post this on the replay page. Now, in my time I have left, folks, remember the burner trade that is on your screen is for unlimited upside. Wiz, I think, hell, it might go up to 210 bucks on earnings. Do that trade. If you think it's going to pop but not super pop, you do the first one. The bullish double vertical. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that? Could be a pump and dump, Andrew. Buy the rumor. Folks, look at all these rumors. Look at all these rumors. Outperform, buy, outperform, price target. We've raised our price target. That's why you are seeing that. This was yesterday when all this happened, and now you're seeing this. From a technical point of view, it does look like Amazon is has some support here. It bounces off the 100-day with some strength. Now let's do the exact opposite trade, because I don't know if I'm going to do this tactic the rest of the week. I'm not. So I'll cover this tactic now. Now I'm giving you a little bit of more free training here. Let's say you're doing what is Amazon's history in responding to earnings? William, that's what I just said. On your brokerage account, many brokerage accounts, folks, have the ability for you to go search this stuff, right? You can enter it on just reach out to your broker and go, hey, where's the earnings tool? There's usually, every one of these brokers has their earnings tools and stuff like that. Let me move on though, because I want to cover this tactic. If you're doing the exact opposite, Wiz, I think this thing is, it's going to move, but it's going to stay within the at the money straddle. Let's go look at that again. It's 15 bucks. The top is 205 and the bottom is 175. 175. 205. Let's go build a range bound trade. 175, 172 and a half. Bull put spread. So in a range bound trade, folks, I'm building a house. I'm going to put a roof up here and a basement, a floor, and the stock is going to live in this home. It's got to stay underneath the roof and it's got to stay above the floor. I'm putting in the floor right now. Here is the bottom, a bull put spread. The 175, 172.5. And this is right on the edge of my limit. When you become a member and you go through all of our training, I'm going to give you my SOP for spreads and stuff like that. My SOP for credit spread is a minimum of 1 to 0.25. That is the bare minimum I will accept risk to reward in a credit spread. It's on the edge. I'm going to go up a little bit. I'm going to go up to 177.5, 175. Let's think about that intuitively. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to walk into the options market today and go, I'm going to place a trade at the money straddle. Nobody's going to see me and I'm going to be brilliant. And they're going to pay me a lot to do it. Fail. Everybody knows the at the money straddle is priced at these prices. You're not going to get paid a lot to sit there. You're going to risk a lot to make a little bit. Welcome to trading, folks. A little bit of risk, a little bit of reward. Medium risk, medium reward, a lot of risk, a lot of reward. Welcome to life. So this one's a little bit better. I like this. The risk to reward is 1 to 0.34. Risk in 19 to make 640. I'd almost go up. Let's look at the 180, man. I like this better. I like the 180, 177.5 bull put spread for about 75 cents. You're risking 18 to make 750. Okay. The risk to reward is pretty nice. Don't forget, with a bull put spread, we make money 3 out of 4 ways, don't we? See that dotted line right there? That's the current price of Amazon. How do we make money on a bull put spread? Amazon goes up, cha-ching. Amazon stays where it is. Wizard didn't do anything for the next week. You make money. Amazon can even go down a little bit, folks, as long as it stays above that point right there, which is called the break even. 76% probability of at least breaking even or making some money. The 1 time out of 4 we lose money, there's the current price of Amazon. It implodes and goes through below our break even, obviously, duh. So I want you to remember $1,800. Why? Because we're going to put on, let's go take a look at a bear call spread. What did I say, 205? We're going to have to go inside of 205. Maybe 202.5, 205. Okay. Risk in 197 to make that. Oh, was I doing 10 contracts before? Sorry about that. There was 10 in there. That's what I should have been doing my 1. I'm sorry. So this one's risking 19, 2 to make 50. We probably gonna have to go a little lower too for this one. Risking 63. So folks, look at this. This is almost like the other one. Risking 18 to make 630. Okay. What is 18 plus 18? 36, right? So if you're new to this tactic, you're probably sitting there going, all right, the bull put spread's risking 18. That's the basement. The roof is risking 18. That's the ceiling. The max risk in this trade is $3,600 and you'd be a failure. Folks, Amazon can't jump through the ceiling and go through the basement simultaneously. You can't lose on both trades. As a matter of fact, the total risk of the trade will be less than this. Watch. So let me add that bull put spread we just did. Put, sell, buy. It was the 180, running at 177.5. 177.5. What did I just tell you? You ain't risking $3,600. Matter of fact, I said you're not even going to risk $1,800 total. You're going to risk $1,100. Folks, and I apologize. I should have been doing 1 contract this whole time. My screen defaults to 10, but you're getting This is actually, if you don't want to risk a lot of money on Amazon earnings next week, but you think it's going to stay in a range, here's a risking $1,100 to make $1,400. This tactic, folks, is called an iron condor. Why? Because these wings here, I guess, look like some sort of condor. It's a weird name, but that's what it's called. It's also, this is why I also called a football trade, right? Let's just pretend that that dotted line is the current price of Amazon. Those are your two uprights. As long as the football, Amazon, stays in between the uprights, man, hell, it can hit an upright as long as it goes in. And technically, since you have a bull put spread and a bear call spread, you have two break evens, one to the right and one to the left. So on your screen right now is a trade called an iron condor. It's a range bound tactic. Let me just show you what one contract would do. Go back to what I'm supposed to be doing. If you wanted to risk $115 in the next week on Amazon earnings on it moving, it does something, but it ain't going to super pop and super implode. This would be the trade. Look at that. Ended getting it right. Let me take screenshots of this too. I will put on a member page. Remember, the screen you're looking at right now has a little photo, little camera icon at the top. Amazon Iron Condor. Click on that photo thing to take a screenshot of this. Now, the one thing I didn't cover on Amazon earnings potentially is what? The opposite happens. Last quarter sucked. The future sucks. Amazon's going out of business. This is our last earnings call, and the stock implodes. Do the exact opposite of the bullish double vertical. We have a tactic called what? A bearish double vertical, the exact opposite. So when you join right now, because I'm going to give you the link to join again. Wiz, I really like these double verticals. Once you join, go to Options Weapon School and scroll down to double verticals and burner trades. You get an hour and 10-minute brief on just that tactic. Everybody understand. Options Weapon School. I just did this training last week, folks. This is an in-depth training session on that. James, volatility goes up next week. Better to trade Condor then? James. You want, as volatility's, when you sell something, you like volatility. I would not wait to do this trade. Steve, any chance of assignment, how to avoid on Amazon Iron Condor trade? Steve, the academic answer is you always run the risk of assignment at any time in an options trade. Now that I have the academic answer out of the way, dude, the only way you run the risk of assignment is if you're short calls in the bear call spread or your short puts in the bull put spread are deep in the money. If Amazon starts ripping higher or lower, you have to either eject out of those positions or manage them. So Steve, what you would do to learn how I manage those spreads and avoid all of that is in Options Weapon School number 4. In Options Weapon School session number 4, I take a deep dive for an hour and 21 minutes into spreads. So folks, now you're seeing live why I do this. Options Weapon School is over here. Go watch this stuff on your own. In the live trade briefs, I'm taking a little bit more time to dig into the trades a little bit to help people out who are somewhat new, but I would normally not be doing this. Steve asked a question like that. I'm like, dude, go watch the Options Weapon School training. All right, moving on to the next trade. Demo do. In the training, I demonstrate, man, hour and 21-minute lecture on this stuff. In the live trade briefs, I focus on what? Live trading. But since I'm in full throttle, I kind of thread the needle a little bit and stuff. There you go, Frank. It worked out for you. Frank said, I got a sign last week on Amazon from the spread and now printing money since it's up 5 points. I love hearing that success story. Lucky, luck, but sometimes luck is all you need, right? Got me 55 years sitting. Look at this. 635 people are now registered for all this stuff. Folks, you got to enroll. My phone was buzzing throughout the brief, which is our collab system. Not a wheel, but a spare tire. So people are buying. I don't know how many slots are left. You have got to join Full Throttle, folks. Okay. I would actually take a snipe right here too. SPX looking pretty good. Any questions on the Amazon trade? I wanted to talk about Bank of America. I will table Bank of America for tomorrow. I really like Bank of America. We're going to get long-term bullish tomorrow on Bank of America, and I'm going to show you how you can, get the milk for free without buying the cow. We ain't buying another share of stock in our life. We're going to use options to be synthetically long stock. Instead of coming out of pocket thousands of dollars, I'm going to come out of pocket a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 to be long-term bullish on it. William, what can Trump do to win, dude? Again, folks, let me lead with this. I don't want that to happen, man. I can't stand any of these people running our country. I don't know what he can do at this point to win, man. I'll be honest with you, folks. Yeah, it's right here. This is the link. Oh, the replay. The replay page is right here. This replay, it's going to take me 20 minutes for the replay to render. And then number 2 will be on here. The one you're in right now will be on this page as well. But yeah, and scroll down, and here's everything to join is on this page. So yeah, so you can join on this page. Okay, it's on here. I got to be honest with you, William. That his convention speech was one of the worst speeches I've seen the man give. First 20 minutes was great. The next 60 minutes were his. And when he goes off script, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's weird. You can tell when he goes off his script and his prompter. It was all. I went to bed. And instead of uniting the nation, I was hoping almost getting your head blown off would have and the other day when Joe was, I'm not running, he could have united the country with thanks for your service, Joe. I'm looking forward to fighting your vice president. By the way, to all the people in the world that are looking at this country as weak right now, we are united. I support my president. Don't try any bullshit. There were so many presidential moments this man could have had recently, and it's a one-man show. The GOP does not exist anymore. It's the party of Trump. I am not a man. I'm not a cult of personality type of guy. I can't stand. I took an oath of office to support and defend the Constitution. Not a lady, not a dude. So I don't know what he can do at this point, William. I just don't know. He needs to increase Putin's Novichok doses, exactly. July 31st, press conference and Fed funds rate. Yeah, they ain't cutting, Daniel, in they ain't cutting in that one, but they might signal when they're going to do it. What was I doing? I was going to put a bull put spread on. Yeah, so right here, folks, $29.95 for the annual membership is the no-brainer. If you do the Full Throttle monthly, you're kicking the tires. You get all the briefs and stuff like that. You do not get access to the hunters over here, folks. The hunters is one of our investment groups, right? The $295 monthly, here's the hunters. Let me click on hunters right there. I post all my intel and commentary over here on this thread, right? Everybody else does too. And then all the trade, my bull put spread from yesterday. Here's Paul, just shot a 55.50. Nice shot, Paul. That's a good looking bull put spread right there. So that if you do the $295 a month, folks, you're not in this thread. You do get access to the ready room, but the ready room is kind of the poor man's, most people are in the hunters, right? So do the hunters. The hunters monthly, folks, is just to try out Full Throttle and that hunters group for a couple months. Don't stay in here forever. This is why the annual is 50%, folks, of what if you stayed in the hunters for a year, it's $6,000. yay for me. I don't need the money that bad, folks. That's why I'm like, just do the annual. I'll save you some money. Do the full throttle annual, folks. If you're still kicking tires a little bit, like, I want to hang out for a couple months, see if you're a complete idiot, distinct possibility, go do that. Do not forget, if you want solo Amazon, you got to add it. It's a separate service from Full Throttle. It was never a part. All right, couple more questions. Steve, you can do that. Rick, I agree 100%, but I'm afraid of what Soros wants for the country. Rick, we've seen what Soros wants for the country. These DAs, shoplifting isn't a crime. Oh, you murdered somebody, no bail, no cash bail. I mean, this country, it's insane. Florida and Texas are kind of the rally points, man. Get here as soon as you can and bring ammo. What Soros is doing in this country is an absolute disgrace. I mean, if you support that, great. Enjoy your shitholes you live in. Steve, in my trade plan, I write stuff down. You can put in hard stop loss. As I go yesterday in the bullish double vertical on the S&P 500, I told you when I get out for max profit or minimum loss, didn't I? I avoid putting in hard stop loss or sell orders. Why? Because I am the pilot in command. Did you see a year ago or 2 years ago that F-35 at Fort Worth, like it bounced hard, and the F-30 and the jet ejected the pilot? What? Dude wasn't ready to go. It was a hard, but the jet's like, calculating, bad landing, must eject pilot. That's why whenever I go through my trade plan, I'll say, this is where I would maybe eject. Why? Because I'm the pilot in command, man. If a trade's going against me, I can set up alerts in E-Trade that give me a heads up that my trades hit a certain price, and then I'll go evaluate. It's a plan, right? The trade plan, Steve, gives me something to deviate from. I go back a couple weeks into a trade, and I'm like, hey, man, this is where I said I was going to get out. All right, it's at that price. I'm going to get out. Or I said I get out at this point. Now I'm going to let it run a little bit. I made the decision. I'm the tick. I'm the trader in command. But at least I have the discipline that I set all this stuff up beforehand. Very long answer to your short question, but that's the way I think about things. Some people who set hard stop losses sometimes, and you don't want to do this, prematurely eject. And of course, 10 minutes ago, I said what? And I got sidetracked. I said, I want to fire an SPX bull put spread. And I didn't because I got sidetracked. And we'd be printing money right now. Some bitch. I'll keep an eye. See, here's a shameless plug to join, because as I sit here and render the recording and send out a new marketing email, I'm probably going to shoot a sniper. And it most likely won't be a bullish one. So this is why I want to join, folks. My S&P 500 trades, as I sit here doing a little bit of work, are very, very, very nice. Like I said, there's the one from yesterday, 90% shot in 90 when it closed at 10 cents. So I got a 95% profit yesterday in a couple hours. And look at the S&P right now, folks. Is everybody liking your bullish double vertical from yesterday? Ladies and gentlemen, we put on that bullish double vertical on the S&P 500 during our trade brief yesterday, right around here somewhere. Look at where we are from yesterday. You're welcome. This ain't, and again, folks, you didn't get death by 520 PowerPoint slides. I'm not a dude that shows you 90 trades from 5 years ago. We are live, we are in the market, and I'm printing money, making shit happen. Loving Amazon. I already have my Amazon bullish double vertical on for earnings. Look at that, 3.5% now in Amazon. You're welcome. Yep, welcome aboard. If you want to join Solo Amazon and just Solo Amazon, it's a separate page. But if you're joining Full Throttle right now, it's obviously you can just add it on there. But you can just go to our home site here, Trade Groups, Solo Amazon. $97 a month, or you get 2 months free if you do an annual. I think just about the 15 to 20 people that joined Solo Amazon yesterday, 19 of them were annuals, which was the right choice. If you want to kick the tires a little bit, here at TOPGUN Options, go throw the $97 at it. What time is solo Amazon on Thursday, Wiz? 10 a.m. All the briefs this week are 10 a.m. We only have 2 more, folks. We got Wednesday, we got tomorrow at 10 a.m. and Thursday at 10 a.m. Okay, reminder, once I hit 50, we're closed, and we're clipping along here. All right, I got to get going. Got a bunch of shit to do today. Good stuff. Look at the S&P 500, man, as I'm sitting here. Just rip, baby. Keep on ripping higher. Your double vertical from yesterday is printing money. The bull put spread that I shot yesterday is printing money. Amazon, if you want that earnings trade, it's already up. I think we're going to get a strong bounce off of the 20-day here in the S&P 500. I think we're going to rip higher. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the financials. Bank of America get long-term bullish, but also I'm going to help you hedge in case something bad out here in the white space happens. There's so much bad happening right now, the market doesn't care. I am here to tell you the market only cares when it cares. And when it cares, it cares. And I print money in those moments. I make money anyway, along with everybody else who only makes money when the market's going up. When there's blood in the streets, Uncle Wiz prints filthy money. I wrote a book about it. Go buy my book. I'll sign it for you and I'll send it to you on the COVID crash. We had a blast. All right, I got to go. Replay will be posted on the replay page shortly. Make sure you join, man. If you join, you get access to go in here and go watch all your options weapons school stuff, get your manuals, do the Lord's work. Get in here and watch the training, folks. This is all from the last 2 weeks. I did options weapons school right before Full Throttle here, so they'd be uber fresh. And obviously go get your workbooks as well over here on the right. Print them out, start reading them, folks. Go to the beach, go to the lake, sit on the couch, kids go to bed, start getting in your manuals. Watch the video training, watch your manuals, and in these live trade briefs, we ain't talking about all this academic training stuff where I half did a little bit of it today. We're trading. I stole this from the Navy, folks. Building block approach. This is how you can turn somebody who's never even seen an airplane before into a steely-eyed fighter pilot in a short amount of time. I'm going to turn you into a steely-eyed options trader. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged, which I'll show you how to do tomorrow. Fights on. Namaste and basi Wiz out. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Cheers.